The first thing he said to me wasn't loud, it wasn't angry, it was worse than that. Calm, confident, like a man who already knew he was right. He looked at me, glanced at my shoes, then my jacket, and said, "Ma'am, you're in the wrong line. Priority boarding is for premium passengers." And right there under the buzzing lights of a crowded airport gate, I felt that familiar tightening in my chest. That moment where you realize this isn't about rules, it's about perception. And yeah, I knew then this was going to get ugly. Let me back up. It was a late afternoon flight out of a major East Coast airport, one of those days where everyone's stressed before they even arrive. Weather delays, tight connections, phones glued to faces. I'd had a long week, barely slept, and I was flying out last minute for work. Not a vacation, not a flex. Work. The kind of work you don't talk about at dinner parties because it sounds boring until you realize what's actually at stake. I was tired, dressed for comfort, not for optics. Soft sneakers, neutral jacket, old leather bag that's been everywhere with me. No logos, no flash. I stepped into the priority lane because that's where my boarding pass told me to go. Simple as that. The man behind the counter, mid-40s, maybe stiff posture, clipped tone, barely looked at my phone before deciding I didn't belong. He told me general boarding would start later and waved me aside like he was brushing crumbs off a table. When I said calmly that I was in the right group, he smiled. That tight smile people use when they think they're being patient with someone who doesn't get it. "Priority is first class only," he said. "If you're economy, you'll need to wait." I told him I was first class. I held my phone out. He didn't scan it. Didn't need to, apparently. He said he could tell. That word stuck with me. Tell. Based on what? My clothes? My face. The fact that I wasn't acting impressed by the room. He leaned closer, lowered his voice. Told me people try to sneak through all the time. Like I was a child caught stealing candy. He motioned for the man behind me to step forward. That's when something in me shifted. Not anger, not yet. Resolve. "I'm assigned seat 2A, I said. "Just scan the pass." He sighed loud enough for others to hear. Rolled his eyes. Took the scanner like he was humoring me. The light flashed green. My name popped up. First class. For a split second, everything froze. You could feel the air change. Then he frowned and reset the screen, muttering about glitches. He told me to step aside while he verified things. When I tried to move forward, he stepped in front of the jet bridge, physically blocking me. That's when the accusations started. He asked for my ID, then the credit card used to book the ticket. When he saw it was purchased last minute, one-way corporate card, he latched onto that like a lifeline. Said it was suspicious. Said it matched a pattern. Fraud. The word hung there heavy. People behind us started murmuring. Someone said it scanned fine. He ignored them. He was locked in now. Backing down would mean admitting he was wrong. I told him the card was mine, that it was my company. He laughed. Asked what company. When I answered, I watched him hesitate for half a second before brushing it off. Said he'd never heard of it. Said he was calling security. That's when I realized this wasn't about safety. It was about control. He needed to win. Security showed up confused more than concerned. The agent launched into his story about suspicious behavior and non-compliance. I told mine. Calmly, clearly. I pointed out that my ticket scanned green and he refused to let me board anyway. He interrupted, talked over me, framed himself as the professional under attack. Then the jet bridge door opened. The pilot stepped out, full uniform. Calm, but clearly irritated. He walked straight past the counter and stopped in front of me. Apologized for the delay. Thanked me for being there on such short notice. Mentioned we needed to review something on board before departure. The agent's face drained. The pilot turned to him and asked very quietly why the owner's representative was being held at the gate. That was the moment. Phones came out. Whispers turned into silence. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. I explained who I was, why I was traveling, and what my role was with the aircraft itself. The agent tried to speak, stumbled over his words, still clinging to procedure. It was too late. The narrative had shifted. He wasn't the protector anymore. He was the obstacle. I boarded the plane. You'd think that would be the end of it. It wasn't. The departure was delayed. Paperwork issues, they said. Weight and balance. I knew better. From the cockpit, I listened as the pilot argued over the radio with the gate. Same voice, same stubborn tone. I realized then he wasn't done. He couldn't let it go. So I took the headset, explained calmly exactly how much fuel we were burning every minute we sat there, explained how delays logged under ground staff discretion get audited, explained what happens when costs stack up. 10 seconds of silence, then clearance. We pushed back. I landed overseas thinking the worst was behind me. It wasn't. I was flagged at customs, pulled aside, questioned, laptop examined. Accusations vague but serious. Someone had made a call, an anonymous tip. I didn't need to guess who. Hours later, everything was cleared. The tip was unfounded. Malicious even. That word stuck too. 2 days later, I walked into a conference room back home. The agent was there, pale, confused. HR, legal. Law enforcement. They had the footage, the call logs, the overseas report, the delay costs. He tried to explain himself, tried to say he was doing his job, but jobs have limits, and power has consequences. He was terminated on the spot, benefits gone. Case handed over. When he looked at me, really looked, I didn't see hatred. I saw disbelief. Like the world had betrayed him by not bending the way it used to. He said I ruined his life. I told him the truth. He did that himself the moment he decided someone like me didn't belong where I was standing. Months later, I saw him once by accident working a counter somewhere far from airports and authority. He didn't recognize me. I recognized him, and I felt nothing. No joy, no pity, just clarity. Power doesn't come from a badge or a uniform. It comes from integrity. From knowing who you are, even when someone else tries to tell you who you're not. So here's my question to you. Was what happened justice, or was it too much? Where's the line between doing your job and abusing it, and how many times have you seen someone judged, dismissed, or blocked simply because they didn't fit someone else's idea of what success looks like? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear them. If this story hit close to home, share it and make sure you're subscribed. These stories matter because they're not rare, and pretending they are is how they keep happening.